Hi, welcome to episode 100 of the Happy Hustle Show. I am so excited about this. I'm so pleased with myself for continuing my streak of Happy Hustle shows, for getting to 100. It's I don't know. I feel really happy. I feel really proud. I feel really excited about this show. And I wanted to do something a little bit different. As you know, normally I take one tip and talk about it. And then if you haven't already subscribed to my channel on YouTube, what I do is I take each Happy Hustle show and I put a cover on it to tell you what it's about. So if you want to catch up on the previous 99 Happy Hustle shows, if you want loads of Julie, they're on the Happy Hustle Show channel. Yeah, that's what it's called, on YouTube, and it should be really easy to sort through them and see which ones might be of interest to you. Thank you so much. I can't see your name, apologies. Sometimes the StreamYard link is glitchy, but if you haven't clicked on the StreamYard link just above this video for a while, it'd be brilliant if you did, so I can see who it is actually live. Bit of an odd time today. I'm doing this in my lunch hour. I've got a meeting, and the next meeting's at 2:30, so I thought I would quickly try and squeeze this in because I've got a busy day. This is an exciting week, not only because this is the 100th show of the Happy Hustle series. However, thanks, Cassie, and congratulations on your masterclass on Friday night. Can't wait to hear all about it on Wednesday. So not just is it episode 100, but it is also the week of our Be Live Free Festival. It takes place on Friday. It starts at 2 p.m. and it goes on until, I said 2 p.m. till late. I reckon the last session will finish, I think maybe 9 at the latest. Oh, it's Jillian. I can see you now, Jillian. Yeah, it runs out randomly. Hi, Samantha. Hi, lovely to see you. Yes, I know it's a bit of a lunchtime one. It's a bit of an odd time. So yes, starts at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, it's me. I'm going to be opening the festival. I'm going to be showing you how to create. Where are they? Hold on. How to create a book like this in less than a week. In fact, yesterday I found a new shortcut. I reckon you could probably create it in, if you really worked hard, you could probably create one in a day. Yeah, in fact, you definitely could. Depends on the type of book that you want to do. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to show you how to create a book that looks like this inside, and a book that looks like this inside. Excited. That is going to be absolutely brilliant for a lead magnet, to kind of claim your expertise, your authority in whatever your side hustle is about. Brilliant to put into your subscription box. Brilliant as a gift that goes out with your products. Amazing if you have a service and you want to summarize your knowledge. I think it's going to be, Cassie, it's going to be brilliant for you. And it's so, once you know it, like everything, it's so easy to do, and it's so cheap. Like, it's so cheap to actually get them printed. So I am looking forward to showing you how to do that. Right after me is the incredible Helen Pritchard. Helen Pritchard is going to show us how to make money quickly by taking our knowledge and monetizing it into a £99 thing, what Helen calls her £99 thing. Taking your knowledge, monetizing it, and Helen will explain exactly how that works. After Helen, it's Helen's original and first business coach, Paula Cohen. Paula is going to talk to us about how to stop faffing and actually get things done. That title really appeals to me, I have to say. Sometimes, no matter what I say, I do find myself doing some things that aren't necessarily money generating. They're more nice to have. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what Paula has got to say on this. Paula has been coaching people on this for a long time. So that's going to be a great one if you feel like you're maybe not quite getting there with the time blocking. The session after that is Lorna Taylor. Lorna is going to show us how to fall in love with Instagram for our side hustle. She's going to take us gently from the beginning, assuming no knowledge of Instagram, and she's going to explain to us exactly how to use stories and IGTV and posts. And we've already had for those of you in the Hive, we've already had a masterclass on Reels, so she'll touch on that for people that weren't at that masterclass or aren't familiar. But she's really going to show us how to build our audience and connect with our audience and get really visible through Instagram. And she's amazing. She's lovely. In fact, I'm on her podcast and it's just been released today. I haven't shared the link yet because Facebook has blocked me from sharing things because I've been going through trying to invite as many people to the festival as possible. Honestly, I think the festival is going to be amazing. And because of Facebook notifications, I know there's going to be loads of people that don't see it. So if you could help me out, I'd be really, really appreciative by sharing the details. As you know, it's completely free. But yeah, I think that there's especially the people that have been through like the last lot of challenges. Have been trying to go back and find them and see if they've actually been notified about the festival. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be super great, because Facebook's just gone, no, you're sharing too much. I'm not going to let you do it anymore. I don't know how long I'm banned for. I was worried I was going to be banned going live, but I'm not. So they've obviously just partially banned me. Anyway. So we've got Lorna, then we've got our very own Julie Brecken. So for those of you in the Hive, you're familiar, Julie is our finance bee. Julie is going to talk about Side Hustle Accounts 101. So it's a really big thing for people when they're starting a side hustle, where they just feel that the accounts bit's too scary, like it just totally puts them off. Julie's got such an incredible, calming way of explaining it all and breaking down exactly what you need to do and making it feel really simple. So Julie is going to help us all out with that. That's at 6 o'clock, and then it's back to me at 7 o'clock, and I am going to share my favorite technique that I have ever delivered in my day job, which is around how kind people deal with negativity in difficult situations. It can be a big barrier to your side hustle success, worrying about, what if I get a negative review? What if I get a horrible customer? What if my friends and family don't support me? What if somebody I went to school with kind of laughs at the stuff that I'm doing? You know, what if, like, all those questions where there can be some negativity and you're just worried that you don't know how to handle it, like you don't know what to say. And also, sometimes when people don't know what to say, they either say nothing or they get angry, because our normal human kind of reaction is to respond to each other in the way that we're being like communicated with. So if somebody is being like, if you feel somebody's being particularly unpleasant, then your normal human reaction would be to respond to that in a kind of a defensive way. So I'm going to show you how to not to do that. So you don't have to have that worry, you don't have to have that fear, and you can continue to be a kind and happy person, because you want to be kind and happy in your happy side hustle journey, and you don't want any of these kind of negative influences that you might come across on the way to knock you off course. I'm going to show you one very, very simple technique to equip you for dealing with that. I'm really looking forward to it. And then at 8 o'clock, I am going to open up the doors to the Happy Hustle Hive obviously for all of you that are in there, you're staying, I hope, but I'm going to open up the doors just for the weekend, so that anybody else who would like to come over and join us within the Hive can do that. I've got two 12-month memberships to the Hive to give away, of course, open to everybody, including current bees. One of them is for sharing the giveaway. So you'll find the giveaway link in the Side Hustle community group and also in the Hive. If you click on the link and enter the competition, you'll see it will give you more points if you share it on Facebook, if you share it on LinkedIn, etc. I'd really appreciate you doing that for me. And one person gets picked at random by that piece of software to win a 12-month subscription to the Hive. If you already have a 12-month subscription in place, or you're already a lifer, I will offer you a super fast side hustle success session instead. So a one-to-one with me. There's another chance to win a 12-month subscription, which will happen on the day. So for people that are live on Friday, lots of people have been asking if the masterclasses will be available on replay. They absolutely will. I appreciate not everybody can be around on Friday, but I will be giving out the two prizes on Friday night. So if you're watching it over the weekend, you'll still get all the joy, but you won't be able to enter the giveaways. There will be more prizes than that as well, so it's going to be fun. I'm going to have some sort of activity on at the closing party, at the hive opening party. Yeah, I've got a couple of options. I haven't quite decided yet, but we're going to do something fun and we're all going to hang out together on Friday night. So I cannot wait. And not the most exciting thing, but in addition to all the other excitement, I'm getting my hair done on Friday morning. So I'll have lovely hair for the whole festival. So you'll be able to come and look at my hair as well. It's definitely going to be worth coming along to for that. Okay. 100th show, going to stop waffling. I want to share with you my story. Now, some of you already know this. You might not know every aspect of it, but you will know some of it. Some of you may have never heard this before, but it's something that I regularly get asked. How did you end up with a side hustle called Happy Side Hustle? Where did it all come about? So I'm going to be super professional, and I am actually going to, oh, thanks, Cassie. Oh, what a lovely thing to say. I am going to share some slides. Look at this for slick and super professional. It's almost like I'm treating this like my day job. So starting here, if you fast forwarded, this is where I'm going to tell you my story, my vision, my values around Happy Side Hustle. I grew up in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. So in the 1970s and 1980s, that's when my childhood was spent. I lived just outside Belfast. However, the area that I lived in, I didn't really feel like I lived in a war zone. I didn't really see anything that felt like being in a war. Although I guess you just are used to what your life is like. So we definitely would, like, I would be going to school on the bus and there would be a burned out supermarket at the side of the road because they hadn't paid their protection money. Or, you'd be walking up the street and there would be, a soldier crouched down with a gun, just kind of looking at you, and you would have to walk past him. And, so there were things that with hindsight, only after having left Northern Ireland, I realized that probably weren't a feature in a lot of people's childhood. But overall, I had a really lovely childhood. Like, I didn't feel like I was growing up. I didn't realize I was growing up in a war zone, put it like that. The picture. So how did I become the queen of happy side hustles? Well, the picture on the left-hand side here is of my mum and me at the beach when I was really young. I have one absolutely wonderful parents. It was probably early teenage years when I realized that my mum suffered from depression and like severe clinical depression. And see, back in the 1980s, like now, that's just something that we talk about and something that's, normal isn't the word that I want to use for it, but it's something that's completely like acceptable. The taboo has gone compared, maybe not completely, but certainly compared to what it was in the 1980s. In the 1980s, it was just something that you didn't talk about. It was like a secret, and it took me a while to work out that was actually what was wrong with my mum. And it was around the time, the realization, and she actually died when I was 17, and all of that, like, there was a few years there where I was kind of going from like this complete what was it, just that childhood bliss where you've just got no worries, like nothing to think about at all, to just kind of realizing that the world wasn't totally perfect. Anyway, it was the same time as I was making my decision over what to do when I left school. So the one thing that has really stuck with me, and it stuck in my head for a long time, was that I was worried that depression was hereditary. Now, see, in the early 1980s, you couldn't just look that up on the internet. Like, I didn't know how to find out if depression was hereditary, but I was really worried that it was. So I decided that when I was going to go to university, that I would study something that would help me to understand the process and also help me to kind of choose a different path. So to make sure that I was choosing a path of happiness. So I very excitedly signed up to do psychology, and I went to Queen's University in Belfast and I studied there for 4 years. I had a brilliant, brilliant time at university, but psychology in the 1980s was not what I had hoped it was going to be. No, there's nothing wrong with it. That was my lack of research, really, before I went. Probably I wouldn't have chosen a different degree, but there was an awful lot more like animal psychology and like ergonomics, psychology of workplaces and all of that. I thought it was going to be a lot to do with body language and happiness. It really wasn't. In fact, positive psychology that wasn't really even invented until around the time that I was at university. So I had a fantastic time, but it wasn't quite what I was hoping for. That's probably the best way to put it. So roll on 10, probably 15 years, and I came out of university and I got a job within the finance and investments sector. Worked there, started off as a financial advisor, and then moved quickly into a training consultancy HR role, and worked within that role for well, still do to some extent. So have worked in that for the majority of my corporate career. When we had kids, the first thing, the most exciting thing for me, for those of you that do already know me a little bit, the most exciting thing for me about having kids was being able to take them and show them Disney World in Florida. Because I've always been an incredible Disney fan. I didn't go, like, it's not something we could afford to do when I was young. We went in 1995 for the first time, me and my husband, and then we went back again for our honeymoon in 1996, and then hadn't been back until we had kids. But it was just like my husband's almost as big a fan, not quite, but almost as big a fan as me. So since we had kids, I was like, right, we need to take them to Walt Disney World. I started pricing it up, realized it's an expensive holiday, right? It's quite an investment of money. It's not something that you can just, like, easily find the money for. I had a decent paid job, and so I guess I had a decent paid job. However, to work, I had to put my eldest son in nursery. And then when we had two children, there's only a year between my children, I then had to put two children in nursery. That was the choice. So as much as I had a decent job, all of my income was basically going out in nursery fees. And I was continuing to work because I felt like it was the right thing to do for my career. But actually, in my heart of hearts, I didn't want to. I didn't want to put my children into nursery and leave them to go into work, as much as, like, I did love my job, but I really wanted to be at home with my kids. Anyway, we were so lucky that we had an endowment policy, a name from the past, that came out around the time where the kids were 3 and 4. And we thought, right, okay, we've got this extra money. Let's go on a once in a lifetime trip to Walt Disney World and show them what it's all about. And we went, and that's a picture of us. And we had, like, the best time. It was just so brilliant. Like, just cannot put into words how much taking my kids to Disney. So the thing I love most about Disney World is they kind of have the magic for you. So they're holding the magic there for you. And so the joy is just, like, it's palpable when you walk in through the gates of Walt Disney World. If you've ever been, I hope you'll get it. Not everybody feels the same way, but yeah, that's how it is for me. Anyway, that and seeing the joy in my children's faces, honestly emotional telling you about it. We came back and we'd had such a wonderful holiday, and I was just like, oh, talk about post-holiday blues. And I remember saying to people, I just don't actually want to go on any other holiday again, like, ever. I'd rather go to Walt Disney World like once every 10 years than like go on a different holiday to a different destination. But we just couldn't see how we could afford it. Like, we're paying for the kids. And then ultimately I left my corporate job. I got the opportunity of redundancy just as my youngest son would have been going kind of full-time into nursery. And actually, we just felt like it made sense for me to leave. So now I've left my job and I'm thinking, right, well, we're definitely not going back to Walt Disney World, are we? Because we're now managing on one salary with two young kids, blah, blah. And at this time, I'm thinking, right, okay, so this is like an opportunity for me to earn money in a different way. So I don't need to earn money the way I've always done, which is in HR and training and learning and development and working in kind of corporate companies. I can do it in a different way. And I remember, like, having my eyes open to that and going to, like, classes with the kids and going, there was a class called Joe Jingles. I don't know if it still exists, but it was like a wee baby singing class. It was really cute, but it was a franchise. I remember it was a franchise, and I remember thinking, oh, I wonder if I could buy a franchise for Joe Jingles and make money like that. And then there was a class called Gym Tips. I wonder if I could like work out some sort of a class for toddlers, or I wonder, one of my friends set up like arts and crafts classes for toddlers. I thought, oh, I wonder if I could do that. And maybe I wonder if I could make something. So my mind was going, but every time I was thinking of something, I was thinking, yeah, but other people already do that, or other people do that better. I'm not sure I'd be good enough. I'm not sure I'm at the right level for that. I'm not sure that I would be able to see that through. So for probably, it was probably only about 6 months, but it felt like quite a long period where I was thinking, well, we've had our once in a lifetime holiday to Walt Disney. I'm not working anymore, and I can't really see what I can do with having the kids at home. And we didn't really have close family nearby that were able to do like help us out with childcare. So when there was chicken pox or anything like that, I had to be there. So it had to be something that was really flexible. Anyway, I just sort of got, well, this is what life's going to be. And maybe when the kids are older, I'll explore something, until Quarry Day. So I was driving through to Glasgow, and I happened to drive past a quarry. And so I can't remember, I was obviously not to the centre of Glasgow, I was going outside somewhere. I happened to drive past this quarry, and I hadn't seen a quarry since the one that was like behind my house when I was growing up. So it was just really weird, because you don't normally be in areas where you accidentally come across a quarry, do you? Anyway, that night I went out with some friends. So it was myself, my husband, and another couple that live in the same street as us, and they also happen to be from Northern Ireland. And we were having a drink, and we were just like chatting about our days. And I said, oh, I drove past a quarry today. I haven't really thought about quarries since the quarry that was beside my house when I was growing up. And my friend said to me, where was the quarry? I didn't think there was a quarry near your house. And I said, there was a quarry near it was like just in the trees, actually. It was kind of over the other side of the trees behind my house. And he said, all right. He said, okay. He said, I didn't. Right, okay. I've never seen it. And I was like, yeah, it was there. And he's okay. So anyway, then he goes, so whereabouts exactly was it? And we're just, and I'm like, well, it was in behind the trees, and yeah. And he's like, well, where's the front of it? Like, how did you get into it? And at this point, he's way ahead of me, right? So I'm going, I don't know. Actually, I never saw the door to it. Like, I never saw the entrance. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was sort of behind like a wee bit of woodland, so there must be an entrance a different way. And he's like, right. He goes, so if you never saw it, how did you know there was a quarry? And I'm sitting with my drink going, uh, well, it's because you could hear it. Like I said, when I was growing up, you could hear it. Like you could hear when they were doing explosions in the quarry, or if they were like mining things or whatever, you could hear like the loud bangs. And he said, right. And he's, remember, he's sitting with his pint like this, and he's like, right. So, so those noises were coming from a quarry. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And he goes, what makes you think that those noises were coming from a quarry? And I went, because it was like, because every time I heard a loud bang or whatever when I was growing up, I would say to my mum and dad, oh goodness, what's that noise? And they would say, well, it's just the quarry. And now this happens like so 15 plus years after I left Belfast. And he's sitting with his pint like this, and he went, I'll just give you a minute to work it out. And it's almost like that situation where they also told me that my pet went to the farm one day. Just like, what? Wait a minute. There's no quarry. I actually grew up in a war zone. And every time there was an explosion, it wasn't just a controlled explosion in a quarry. It was because I grew up in a war zone. That's what the noises were. 15 years later, it took me to, and I wouldn't have worked it out myself. I wouldn't have worked it out myself unless my neighbor said that to me. So that was the House of Cards. That was the day I went home that night. I was reeling. I was just like, well, if that isn't true, but I believe that to be true, and I'm walking about with that in my head, what other stories in my head are not true? Like, what else is there that's not true? Because if that isn't true, then I need to question everything. And it was just one of those really significant moments where I went, I've just kind of gone through this kind of assumption that everything that was in my head I believed to be true. And because I was in this phase of going, well, what could I do to earn money? The next time I started thinking, well, maybe I could set up a business, instead of going, well, no, because other people, I couldn't do that. Other people set up businesses. I started to use the question, well, I wonder how I could do this. And for those of you that are familiar with coaching, you'll be aware that that is a very, very like popular coaching question, but it wasn't anything I was presented to me at the time. It came from me going, well, if that story isn't true, what else? How can I kind of sieve my brain to find out what's true and what's not? So that was the start of my journey. That was the point where I went, right, I can start a business. How can I start a business? What is the best way to do it? And what followed from there have been a series of side hustles, each one looking at providing that luxury extra money to fund a trip to Walt Disney World. One of the key parts of it, and I guess it didn't really start like this, but it's sort of evolved into this, is that it's not just a side hustle, it's turned into a happy side hustle. Because what I then did was I meshed together why I want to study psychology in the first place and my kind of, drive to be happy, to make sure that I wasn't going to end up with any sort of hereditary depression, but that I was going to take control of that as much as it was possible to do. That I was going to take control and I was going to try and create as happy a life for myself as possible, as well as wanting to fund dream holidays, because that was ultimately such a happy thing for me. My stream of happy side hustles were invented to fulfill both those things together. So one of my key values around this is happiness. What then happened, of course, was that because I made so many changes to my lifestyle, because not only did I have one return trip to Disney World, we've now been more than 10 times with the kids, because where else would you go? Using my side hustle funds, and also my self-esteem, my happiness, my confidence in life, everything. Every time I put myself out there and I tried something, I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and either it worked or it didn't, but I kept moving forward. It impacted me as a person, it impacted my personality, it impacted my energy, it impacted how I was to be around. So all of a sudden, I started getting asked to go for a coffee. I was thinking of setting up a business. Could I just buy you a coffee and ask you some questions about how to do it? And I was really happy to do that. I really enjoyed those conversations, but there ended up being so many that I couldn't go for a coffee with everybody. I didn't have time. I was still working on my day job. I was working on my happy side hustles. I was really kind of hustling away to get the money for my next Disney trip. So what I decided to do was to come up with a week-long challenge experience to help people answering the things that they asked me all the time when they took me for a coffee. So I have no idea what I want to do right through. So working through a process where I've got my perfect idea that not only is something that's going to make me the money that I need to achieve the goal I want to achieve, but also it's something that makes me happy. It's something that brings me joy. I have helped more than 2,000 people through my 5-day challenges actually bring their gift to the world. There have been more people that have come in the start. It's not for everybody, but in terms of the output from the other side and the actually created side hustles, I've helped more than 2,000 people not just bring their gift to the world and find it, but up their happiness levels. When you up your happiness levels in one part of your life, it ripples out to your whole life. So it ripples out to your day job, it ripples to the people around you, it ripples to your family. It helps you to show people it's possible to do this. It's possible to have your quarry moments. It's possible for you to start questioning the things that are in your head, blocking you having the life of your dreams. I love helping people move through their quarry moments Get rid of the negative stories that's in their head. It's an ongoing process, of course. But as soon as you start, as soon as you understand the questions to ask yourself, as soon as you realize that a lot of stuff in your head is just other people's stuff that has been said to you over the years. It's just things that other people have told you. And to go back to the example earlier, my mum and dad told me there was a quarry, so I wouldn't be a frightened child. Like, it was such a lovely thing to say. But it wasn't true. And there were plenty of other things that they said to me, other people said to me, that I learned, that I picked up through different sources, that weren't true. And certainly things like, well, who am I to start a business? Like, that's not true. We can all do this. We can all choose the life that we want. My goal is to go from 2000 to go from being a catalyst to 2000 side hustles up to being a catalyst for 10,000 side hustles by the end of next year. I'd ultimately like to go further forward than that, but that's the initial goal that I have set myself. I genuinely believe that if the majority of people were able to understand how to unleash that gift, the thing that makes them totally happy, the thing that they would choose to do on a lazy Saturday when they have no other demands on their time, if they understood how to monetize that and to use it for luxuries or for anything that's important to them, to raise money for a cause, whatever it is that lights them up, if they've got the money to do that, if we could be more moneyed in this world and we can choose to use the money in the way that we want to, we can choose to use the money in a way that's going to do good for the world, do good for us, do good for our families. If we can choose to do that through a happy side hustle, I want to be the catalyst for it. I want to support people to do it. I want to be the role model. I want to inspire people. I want to encourage them. I want to lift them up. 10,000 people by the end of next year. That is the goal. If you are watching this and you have not yet set up your happy side hustle, please do it. Please revisit the training if you've kind of forgotten what your idea is. Please do it. If you've set up your side hustle and you're not reaching your income goals yet, please come to the festival on Friday, because I'm going to do my very best to show you lots and lots of different ways that you can become more visible, that you can grow your audience, that you can connect with your audience, and therefore you can make the money that you want to make. I need to go into another meeting now, but thank you so much for listening to me. I hope my story has resonated with you. I hope it's inspired you and made you want to make sure and go out and achieve that side hustle vision. Any questions, anything that is in your head that is stopping you from believing that you can, I want you to just turn it into, I wonder how, as opposed to I can't. Okay. Thank you for listening. Thank you for 100 episodes of the Happy Hustle Show. And I will speak to you all for episode 101. Take care, everyone.